or at the school cafeteria sells two kinds of wraps, vegetarian and chicken. We know the cost of them. The vegetarian wrap costs $1 and the chicken wrap costs $1.80. And by selling 70 wraps today, they made $98.80. How many of the wraps sold were vegetarian? So first we need to define the variables and say, let V equal, we could use X or Y, but sometimes it's nice to use the letter of the thing that it's representing, equal the number of vegetarian wraps. And of course then let C equal the number of chicken wraps. Okay, we've defined the variables. I'm going to stick that over here. Oops. And now let's write the equations for them. Well, we know that they sold 70 wraps, so one thing that you can just start straight away by doing is saying the number of vegetarian wraps plus the number of chicken wraps needs to equal 70. That's how many they sold. And then what's the next equation? Well, let's take the cost, so find out the total cost. We say $1 for vegetarian, so that's really 1 times V, but we don't need to put 1 in front of the V, we just put V. Plus, and we do need to put the cost, it's different, if the coefficient is different than 1, we need to write it, $1.80 times the number of chicken wraps they sold, and when we add this right here is the total amount made on veggie wraps, this is the total amount made on chicken wraps, and how much is that total? $98.80. Okay? So now we can subtract and see what we get. Okay. If we do parentheses and we subtract, then what do we have as a result? We have, let's see, really, I'm going to actually write, it doesn't matter what the order is, I'm going to write this first. I'm going to write, let's choose a different color. I'm going to write the second equation now with the negatives. Minus 180C equals negative 98.80. Just to rewrite it now that it has negatives. And then I'm going to write the V plus C equals 70. And now, because they have opposite signs, now we can just add them together. So negative V plus V cancels out. Negative 1.80C plus 1C equals, let me get back to my colors here, negative 0.80C equals, and negative 98.80 plus 70 equals negative 28.80. Okay? And of course now we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient of the variable, which is negative 0.80 equals negative 28.80 divided by negative 0.80. And we will get C equals. Now, how are we going to do this? I'm going to zoom in on a little spot over here and do some calculations on the bottom. I want to take this right here, negative 28.80 divided by negative 0.80, okay? And in order to do that, I'm going to zoom in here just in a little spot and say, okay, negative 28.80 divided by negative 0.80. And I'm going to multiply top and bottom by negative 10 so that I get now a positive number, and I get a 288 divided by 8. Essentially what I'm doing here is the negatives cancel out, and I'm saying if we had 0.80 or 0.8 is the same thing into 28.80 or 28.8, same thing, then you really want to divide always when you do division problems, you want to divide by a whole number. So we're going to move this over one place to the right, and we're going to do that same thing here in order to get the proper same answer. And when you do that, you get this new problem of 8 into 288. And that's essentially what you're seeing there, right? 288 divided by 8. And so how many times does 8 go into 28? It goes in 3 times. That's 24. Left with 4. And bring down the 8. How many times does 8 go into 48? It goes in 6 times. That is 48. And we get as an answer 36. Okay? How does that matter? Because if we're looking, sorry for the zooming, I'm still getting used to that. If we're doing this, we say, okay, when we did that math down there, we got 36 as an answer. So C equals 36, number of chicken wraps, right? That's not what they wanted to know, though. They wanted to know how many were vegetarian. Well, then let's do one more math problem over here. And they said, well, we know that the number of vegetarian wraps plus the number of chicken wraps equals 70. And so if we sub in, we say number of vegetarian wraps plus the number of chicken wraps, 36, should equal 70. And now we can subtract 36 from both sides. And we get V equals 34. That is our answer, and I will type it here up top as 34 reps, and that is the answer that we have for D, so the answer is D.